All right. So today we are going to be taking these factors and either writing them as standard form or expanded form or actually finding the product. We're going to be talking about all these things. But a few things I want to show you first is let's just pick apart letter A real quick. So we have 5 times y. So if we were to put these together, which is what we're going to do here, this is going to be 5y. Now I want to give you some names for this stuff. This is called the variable. This is called a coefficient. Okay. Together, 5y together is called a term. So this is the term. The 5 is called the coefficient. The y is the variable. So those are some vocab pieces that we're just going to keep on the side. This stuff is pretty simple. See how everything's got these little time signs in between? Our job here is to make it in standard form, which is the fewest numbers and symbols possible. So we have to like squeeze it all together. So 5 times y is nothing more than 5y. Whereas 7 times d times e, we are multiplying this coefficient of a 7 by 2 factors of d and e, which are variables. We're just putting them all together so they all touch without signs in between. But see how we have a 5 and a 2 and a y and a z? We can't put this together to make 522yz. We actually have to do the math in between. So 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20. So we would end up with 20 with a y and a z touching it. Which is nice and simple. So here, 3 times 3 times 2 times 5 times d, well, we know we're going to have a d involved. So 3 times 3 is 9. And we can chunk this if we want, because multiplication, the order doesn't matter. 2 times 5 is 10. And then 9 times 10 is 90. So we end up with 90 with the letter D. Okay. You could just go 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 18 times 5, that's all the same. So now here we're going to just expand it. So this, we're going to take this and stretch it out as long as we can. So this is nothing more than 3 with a multiplication sign and a G. Notice I'm using dots and not X's because we have variables. So 11 times M times P, we just have 11 times M times P. Now if 11 could be broken down to make it look longer, then we could. I mean, the 1 is pointless, but see how we have 20yz right here? So we could actually pull it apart like they did up here for the 20yz. I bet you they didn't even notice that they had the same one. So we could go 5 times 2 times 2 times y times z. We could also, it says expand it, so we could use a 4 times a 5. There's other options, but that's a 5 right there. And 15, we could go 3 times 5 times A times B times C. This is pretty simple stuff. Now, when we said find the product, not only do we have to make it smaller, but these two coefficients have to come together to make one coefficient. So we can take the 5 times a 7 and get 35, and then just put on the D and the G right with it. And this one, we could take the 12 and the 3 and get 36. And then we have A, B, C, D attached to that. So basically, that's what we're doing today. Remembering that standard form means fewest number, expanded form means stretch it right out. Remember, coefficient, variable, and term are 3 very important words you're going to need over the course of this. As always, I love math.